Welcome, everybody, to another episode of BlockSafe Decoded, the web series where we talk about best practices for building in the Web3 space. I'm joined today by Matija. He is CEO of Koncepted, an excellent design firm, if I do say so myself, who are also our BlockSafe partners in design. Matija, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So part of this series is geared towards helping people, I guess, of all levels throughout their development, but a lot focused towards early stage founders to help address their needs and kind of give a pathway, because a lot of times we find that um, to learn how to operate or build a business in this space can be difficult, and not everybody knows where to initially turn or how to distribute their early funds properly. What's the point to where we put it towards X, Y, and Z? So we
Mhm.
want to just talk about general stuff about design, what's interesting about Web3 design, and get into a whole lot of stuff. So quickly, tell me a little bit about yourself and your company and your journey into design so we can get familiar with your history.
Sure. Yeah. Obviously, we're Concepted is a go-to design company for Web3. Myself, I'm a CEO here. I did like a super short intro about myself. I did go through. I went through all the stages from being a designer, a freelancer, to experience and launch my own product, to experience how it is being an entrepreneur, and seeing the whole business aspect of the product itself. And I've been leading design teams. I've been establishing different directions for from early stage startups as well, for the global enterprises. And I would say, for me personally, I like to explore the unknown, and this is where I think the design can really push the innovation forward, and especially in Web3, and let's say in AI as well. These are the things that are here. It's something that's gonna be here to stay, and there's so many opportunities around this, and this is how we explore through design different opportunities within Concepted as well.
Absolutely. How has the design landscape changed in the past 5 years with the acceleration of things like Web3? There's always one of the biggest things, and I had my daughter in high school. She could take a technical school for half the day, and she was
Mhm.
doing design and animation and things like that. And one of the reasons I told her that, I was like, look, if there's ever a job that's needed in my industry, it's design.
Yeah.
From There's always marketing materials, there's always branding to do, there's always pitch decks. And so how is that translated in Web3? And are there specific things about design that have changed in the Web3 landscape, or that you trends that you see that are popular?
Yeah, so I think overall, Web3 still has the same components of the design. I would say, well, obviously there are different Web3 trends, but it doesn't differ that much from other industries. Concept it's been we've been into gaming very heavily, and then fintech, SaaS, and so on. I would say the basic components of design that a business needs to run successfully are still the same. Um, Although I do think that Web3 founders are much more willing to experiment with new
Mm,
things, to stand out, but also in terms of the design experiences. Um, and by that I mean, it's not only you often see these trendy futuristic designs, and that involves custom typography or some minimal gradients or 3D abstract shapes. These are all
mhm.
the trends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like cyberpunk was a pretty strong
Oh
trend.
yeah. Oh yeah, synthwave and even the color scheme I've got behind me is that's
Yeah,
that's everywhere, right?
and now we're seeing these bento style grids. This is another trend, but it's I think these trends are, they come and go.
Mhm.
The actual components of the design stay the same, and I also think that the products over time, they need these constant design updates, not just to keep them trendy, but also obviously adding features and all of that stuff. And that's why it's the same as with every other industry. I think uh, Web3 brands need to evolve their design language as well. Throughout the whole throughout their journey. So
Yeah.
big part of all this, I think nowadays, is AI. So um, we're testing out, for example, our internal models that can help us establish certain design directions.
Mhm.
So we actually use AI in certain cases to establish design directions, which were previously, part of the so-called style exploration process, and this could really speed up the whole thing. And it's also something that I see our clients are appreciate, because it's not just quicker, it's also something that they can quickly see, okay, so this is a good
Yeah.
idea, or we like that part, or
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
quickly get an idea approved. And
Yeah, that was
this
gonna be a question because I think that I think a lot of founders, especially those that are cash strapped, and there's not a problem with that, certainly with using AI for your early
Mhm.
concepts and things like that. But is it still when you talk about building a brand, there's brand identity that has to come with that. There's branding and logo kits. Why is it still important to actually use a full designer? You know, if I'm an early stage founder and I'm trying to get by with AI, um, why would it still be important to come to somebody like you to establish my overall look?
Yeah, so I think that this is a very wide question. I'd say there's a few points to that. First of all, you do need to think about choosing a good design partner, I think, and that's because of a few things. Obviously, you need someone to understand the specifics of the industry, and I think uh, this doesn't mean that you're going to hire someone that is going to do the research on it and that's it. We actually have a Web3 design team that people are passionate about using these Web3 tools on a daily basis, and this is where the actual knowledge and is. And when these people build and design products for others, for our clients, for example, they can provide a value that's not comparable just to some other designer that did research on the industry. So I think that's something that, especially in Web3, things are evolving really fast,
Hmm.
and you really need to be passionate about, following all this and translate it to design. um yeah, and that's why we have these micro teams specific to different industries.
Sure.
And when we talk about the people involved, you have obviously product designers, social media designers, 3D designers, artists, and so on, but all of them are passionate about Web3. And the, some are participating in Web3 communities, some are even having their own products built and things like
Hmm.
that. So um understanding the industry in depth is a really big value to that. The other thing is also, with that, you understand what appeals to the audience. You understand how the products work, what are the
Hmm.
required flows for it, not to actually make it functional.
Hmm.
um, and then comes the trends that we've also discussed.
Yep.
But I think this is one very strong point. um, the other one is that I would say, like, obviously the design principles, so there's two things: the design principles and the user experience. And
Hmm.
I think user experience is a big crucial part of every product design, especially in Web3, because you need to consider that there might be users that are coming from Web2,
Hmm.
and you need to onboard them. You need to, get them used to this
Right.
new world.
Hmm.
Um, Oftentimes we see that through design, we're building transparency and guidance for those users, and this is how new brands build trust. um the other part is just really, basic design principles like good contrast,
Of
hierarchy of
course.
colors, typography, clear call to action buttons, and things like that. um and this all helps with how the brand positions strategically, not just
Hmm.
visually. um so yeah, I think and then maybe the other thing that comes to my mind is, so what makes good design, right, is also finding the right balance between function and
Hmm.
visual design.
Right.
I think uh, we prefer we always prefer our clients to, we try to help them out, but lots of them already have very focused business goal,
Hmm.
and from that we can actually extract design ideas and,
Yeah.
work with that from that business goal. And I think,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, I just wanted to give an example. There's two ways for that. I
Hmm.
think that we've seen from our experience. There are founders that want super strong, visually attractive design that's interactive and, has all sorts of animations and things like that. Um, and to be honest, it might be hard to navigate on that
Yeah.
website, but
Hmm.
it if their goal is to, immerse the user into storytelling, let's say
Hmm.
for play to earn game or something
Yeah.
like that, it does the job, right?
Sure.
And
You
then
might
on
need that intro animatic that fades to the
yeah,
click
yeah,
now, click here kind of thing. Yeah.
exactly. There's
Yeah.
all sorts of interactions, some are on scroll, some have floating objects, and all sorts of things. These are heavy on the eyes, websites heavy on the eyes, but and maybe not that user friendly, but you really get that feeling like you're into some experience when you're
Right.
scrolling through. While I think on the other end we have um, products that are focused on finding the right balance between this functional and visual part. Um, I think one of our good examples was Cdify, was a launch pad that we did back some time ago, and obviously had all this, functionalities like pools, staking,
Yeah.
and so on. And the focus was on making the design functional and
Hmm.
in just literally improving the engagement, improving
Right.
the ROI, and that's it. And we still try to make it as visually engaging as possible, but there was this other business goal
Sure.
that the founder had in mind.
Right. I can imagine that when you have, it's like you mentioned, things like staking, where you have to have some data, some figures, a dashboard, or something like that. You do have to definitely strike this balance between,
Yeah,
we want to keep with the theme, we want to keep with the color scheme, but we also need to make sure that, this is data, this is numbers, this is currency, then it needs to be instantly recognizable and
yeah,
accessible.
yeah, for
Earlier
sure.
you mentioned typography, and this is one of my, I'm a typography nerd. I can't tell you like my favorite font or anything, but
Okay,
I started to get into typography Twitter lately with people who are doing custom typography. And,
nice.
ooh boy, it is
Yeah,
fun. It's almost as good. Well, it's in a neck and neck tie between plotter Twitter as well. If like
okay,
plotter art, I love that too. But
yeah, yeah,
how important, of course, I mean, to me this is the easy answer, but if I came to you and I just said I need great word mark, like how important if you're starting your brand is just the typography when you're trying to design the first stages of your identity.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, well, branding can go very deep, right? So with branding, obviously there's different components to it. You have the whole typography as different marks and symbols, and then you know how does it work all together with the colors and it's not just about the typography itself. It's also about the hierarchy that then reflects on the whole website. I think
Mhm.
typography overall um, can replace logo designs. We can actually use super custom typography to do some really nice logo designs, and they can be very recognizable, in some cases even more than the actual symbol itself, right?
Mhm.
So there's definitely a trend for that. However, I think there's also, obviously, you need to know what's important for your product. Is it r- being recognizable as this symbol,
Mhm.
or do you want to actually have your product name as the main or
Mhm.
brand recognition, which can be then translated through this typography and logo
Mhm.
design. The other part, I think, in terms of typography, is that we also see a lot nowadays is using super custom typography and lots of white space
Mhm.
on these websites, where you have, I would say, smooth delivery of the content. So you
Mhm.
have some typography in the background, and then once you scroll, they come up, and then
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
this smooth transition from one content to another.
Mhm.
And this is where hierarchy of the whole typography is important, and also pairing different typographies together. This is also a thing that I think it needs, it needs a special touch, because there's certain typographies that you want to use just for, well, for to impress at first sight. But
Mhm.
there are certain, there are typographies that you need to use to make your content readable. You
Yeah.
need to take care of spacings and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to you don't want to use the free Star Wars style font. I mean, you can use that as your header, but do not create the rest of the body of your website in
Yeah,
the
don't
same
do
exact font, right?
that. Yeah.
Because that gets a little nutty. Um, I'm a guy. I got to be honest. Growing up in the '90s with the internet point 1.0, I'm going to tell you something. I miss those old Angel Fire personal websites and that
Yeah,
and that look where everything was sparkly. You had the rotating 3D banner and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. It
yeah.
was a cool time though. But you know what? Being able to easily customize those kind of websites that spawned an entire industry, right? Of
Yeah,
this digital design and people learning how to do this on their own. And it was a lot more difficult than, let me tell you what, until people started offering services to pimp your site for you. And then and here you are,
yeah.
Concepted.
Here we
Let's
are.
talk about a little bit about let's talk a little bit about the process. So if somebody came to us to BlockSafe to design something and we started talking about design, we call you up and what is the process here? Tell us how walk us through like the 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 back end and how we determine
Mhm.
things, your team and how we decide like who needs to do what.
Yeah, yeah. So Um, obviously, when someone comes to us, we like to schedule an initial call to get familiar with the idea, what they're trying to build. What are their goals? As I mentioned previously, like business goals, not just visual goals.
Hmm.
Lots of clients also have there already some kind of a design vision. So that's also very good to so we can discuss about that more in depth and try to get as much information as we can from them. And I think so the other part is also how how quickly they need something, because I know that in Web3 world things move quickly.
Hmm.
uh, then you have a lot of times actually it's better to build an MVP design faster rather than have it fully detailed, polished.
Hmm.
It doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
so that you can go and do the round of funding, or
Yeah.
just
Right.
showcase the product. But yeah, so the process is pretty simple. Once we get all that, we ideally we want to align with the roadmap. So ideally we always suggest that there is some kind of a project roadmap, so not, and then alongside that we create our design roadmap that is synced together, and then we can go even further and sync it together with their development teams. And
Hmm.
so that this we've seen great results with doing that. And we always encourage our clients to do it. I know that for some, they don't have this. It's fine. We can still work together, but to have a very productive and efficient workflow, this is recommended. Um, and then with that roadmap comes different deadlines. uh, Obviously deadlines are important. And things move very quickly on our end. We have this custom built platform to collaborate, so that there's a very smooth collaboration going on between the client side and our Concepted team. There's always a project manager involved on our end, but obviously you can communicate directly with anyone involved in your project. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. We have this platform where our clients can see daily progress, daily updates, so they know exactly what's happening, what we're designing for them. They can share priorities. They can always ask for additional things that they
Hmm.
might need. We're very flexible on that end because we know how things can change, plans change, priorities change. So yeah,
Of course.
that's.
And I think just also the important point is when you design with us, as a combo, you have these great specific teams on each side of the equation. So you have
Mhm.
our BlockSafe development team, you
Yeah,
have your team, when and each project has a project manager, has a designer
yeah.
or 3D artist or whatever that you need staffed. So you
Mhm.
have an entire design team. It's not just one person who's trying to
Exactly.
do everything. It's on both sides of the equation. You have full development, full design at your
Yeah.
fingertips in one place that you can communicate with each other and make, as you said, the workflow really good. I want to go ahead and let's share some screen here, and this is our. Oops. Here we go. This is part of
Mm.
our design deck. So we can do everything from strategy, product branding to art.
Yeah.
As you said, unlimited requests. We're nice and flexible and reliable. Let's take a look at some of. Let me see if I can zoom this up a little bit. Oops, I think I tried to zoom the wrong
Mhm.
thing. Let's see if we can just get a little bit of better idea of some of. I'm on the wrong. I'm trying to mouse the
Oh,
the StreamYard window.
yeah.
So a little some idea of what we could do. So between product design.
Yeah. So,
Let's switch pretty fast. So as you said, the difference between the lending style protocol and the ape, or whatever you might have going on there.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, so as you can see, there's so many different styles, so many different products that we've done. I think it goes from DEX platforms, lots of DeFi projects, dApps, NFT marketplaces and even NFT art
Hmm.
collections and wallet apps, social media design, branding. There's launch pads that we've done,
Yeah.
uh, games, and yeah, the whole thing is the whole idea with us is that we can cover all your design needs, right? So we have a
Right.
talent for pretty much every design need that you have, and I'm really excited about this because this then streamlines the whole workflow for someone looking for a design partner. They avoid all the micromanaging, the hiring process,
Exactly.
the having to deal with unreliable freelancers. This is nowadays a problem as well.
Yeah. The Fiverr problem, right? How
Exactly.
many I look, I cannot tell you, and nothing wrong with people who sometimes you have to use Fiverr, right?
Of
Sometimes you need to
course.
use a
Yeah.
freelancer. There's nothing wrong with that. With the need to use it, however, I cannot tell you how many people I know that have got completely burned by
Yeah.
using that process. So,
Yeah. No,
and go ahead.
yes, that's why I think it's really important to have a design partner that understands the goal, and as I said, is passionate about Web3. That people really understand this,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, I mean, alongside all these issues that we try to solve with our workflow, there's this fast-paced environment in Web3, so the quick turnarounds are really appreciated. We've
Oh
seen
yeah,
this
100%, 100%, and you can't get that with the solo freelancer a lot of the time.
exactly.
So
Yeah, yeah,
for the same money, we're giving you a full team, right,
exactly.
alongside your development, and we're in between our teams, we're working hand in hand to make sure
Yeah,
that we deliver an excellent product. And I think
yeah,
that's why this is such a beautiful combination. And we're super happy to have you as design partners. I can tell you that much. Clearly, your knowledge is great. All the everything that you put out so far, we absolutely love. Any other thoughts about design in general, or what would?
Mm, I mean, there's so much to say, and talk about
Yeah,
in Web3 space. I don't know. For me personally, I think there's also this question about when someone comes to us, it's not just startups or early founders. It's also companies that are well established
of
and
course.
they want to have an external team on demand,
Hmm.
and with that, obviously, as I said, they avoid all this hiring, and we're just there on demand. As their
Yeah,
needs scale up, we're here to help. As they when they don't need us, it's fine. And that's why I always ask, how do you handle design right now, or how do you envision handling it if you're a startup or if you're just starting. I think that's a really important question because um, there needs to be an understanding that we can actually substitute an internal design team. You
hmm,
know,
yeah,
so and especially if we're starting from scratch, we have a very we can build a very good relationship, and with that we know all the ins and outs of the product itself. We're basically their internal team, and
exactly, exactly. And as you said, the beautiful thing is we can start and stop things as the
yeah,
client, as you need it. So if we get the pitch deck done, we can pause things. When you're ready to come back and start building the website, we resume things.
yeah,
And it's all factored into our price point. It's all factored into the things that we do. So there's never any pressure on you, the client, to get stuff done. It's not,
exactly,
all time and materials. We just work with you at your pace, at
yeah,
your budget. We get the work done, and when you're ready to proceed, we're still there with you on the long term.
yeah,
And that's the ideal thing is when we can start you and help with the branding, the logos, the press kit, right? Move
yeah,
on to the pitch deck. move on to the site design, and just keep building with you the entire way, and
Exactly.
in a way that's not going to be necessarily detrimental to your pocketbook. We can just do things as needed, and I think that's the best thing, and that's why that we work together, because we just want to help people build great stuff, and I know that you do too, and
Exactly.
beautiful stuff as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, listen, it's Matija, it's been great to have you on. Thank you so much. Of course, if
Thank you.
anybody out there has any design needs, please contact us here at blocksafe.space. We are more than happy to help you execute on your vision and build beautiful things for you in this space. Thank you so much again for coming on, and we will
Yeah.
talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you for inviting me. It's
You
been a
got it.
great session.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye bye.